And then you is recording, so probably if it's your first time here, that's how we operate. So we have housekeeping and then root box to all up 40 minutes, give or take a few minutes. And then we can have some pizza and network until 8 p.m. Housekeeping is phone on silent and exit is on the green signal and I'll color them. And the bathroom is just on this floor here. And then talk about our sponsor, which is Agile Analytics, the company that I work for, and they also sponsor the event. It's being sponsored for the last 2.5 years. So our expertise is like artificial intelligence, data analytics, business intelligence, and cloud solutions. We build just stuff in the cloud. We use Azure and Databricks as a platform, as partner. And here, a few examples of our customers across Australia. So thanks for everyone, for Patrick, Adelaide University. It's changed now the name, but I think it's what I'm talking about. Agile Insights for sponsoring, Ruth for speaking, and all for showing up tonight, and for the helpers, thank you very much. So next meeting is 2026. So we're gonna go for a break. Enjoy your festive season. Christmas, we have a lot of pies in Santa. And then reminders, if you want to join Slack to connect and helpers, I do a pizza run about 25-30 minutes and clean up the room, make sure that's clean after we finish. And then you can speak now.
You don't need to clap. I haven't done anything so hard. Thank you. Thank you.
And just introduce your group. She's a data scientist, software developer, and she's going to talk about Marimo, which is the notebook. Like,
it's the new notebook.
The new notebook. If you're not using Marimo, it's missing out something.
Apparently. It's actually really nice that your employer sponsors this. So I'd like to double down on thanking them, because otherwise we'd just come here and be a bunch of like strangers in a room with no snacks. Hungry strangers in a room. I am going to try and do a live coding presentation. I've never done one of those before. I've done heaps of talks with slides, and like I'm going to level up. So and like, who here hates giving public presentations? Do you hate it? You're allowed to hate it. Most people hate speaking in public. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for running this, given that you hate it. So the fun thing about doing things like presenting in public, even though it's terrifying and you hate it, is that everyone's rooting for you. So that's how I'm going to get through this. Like, I practiced it and it was fine when I practiced. I am going to mess it up when people are watching me type. But I know that you're all rooting for me. And I want you to think about that when you're like, I am doing something vaguely interesting that is worth sharing. The other thing I'm going to do that I think is kind of fun is I am going to do the whole presentation inside a Marimo notebook. And the other thing I'm doing that's new is I'm trying to use UV. So I'm still stuck in the past, the old world of using VN, which works fine. But I think that is Owen here? No. Owen, who I've seen speak here, I think, is that right? I've seen him speak here. And I think he's got, I think he's a big proponent of UV and is possibly releasing.
Yeah, I think he spoke about UV in rough.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying that because I'm trying to try new things. So UV run. Now, the way that you kick off a Marimo notebook is you go Marimo, and I'm going to run it in edit mode, and it's called PyADL. So this is fun. It's noticed that I have set it up to run in a sandbox environment. So it's going to install everything it needs and then hopefully open itself in a browser. Ta-da! And now we're in edit mode. So why, thank you. We're 5 minutes in and I've started. So I'm actually gonna change this so that it's in app mode or slides, which are badly formatted, but that's whatever. We're gonna deal with this. So I'm Ruth and I'm a doctor. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about why I think that's funny and why I use this photo. This is me submitting my PhD thesis. So the other thing I noticed when I come here, because we're at a university, which I didn't actually study at, but I think we get a lot of students come in here. Is that true? Some of you are students? Yeah. Well done, congratulations. So I thought I would just talk a little bit about how I bounced around and finally ended up with a PhD in case it's on your path. I did my undergrad at UniSA, got an internship, didn't love it, went to Melbourne Uni and started a PhD and dropped out after 2 years. Then went and did some more work for a few years. And then I went to QUT and got a PhD in a field of applied maths called operations research. And so now I'm a doctor, which like I'm kind of proud of. So what is Marimo? These are the new kind of notebooks. They look and feel a lot like Jupyter, except if you're using VS Code like I do most of the time, they don't yet have a renderer in VS Code, but they're working on it. Like this stuff is new, but it's already crazy popular because it overcomes what I consider to be all of the traps when you're messing around with Jupyter. Like who uses Jupyter notebooks? Yeah, right, true confessions. Who checks in a notebook that if someone else opened it up, it wouldn't run from top to bottom? Did you check that notebook in? Because there's some horrendous statistic about all the Jupyter notebooks that are on GitHub about how few of them will actually run from top to bottom. And it's because they work like a REPL. They sort of have this hidden state. So you declare some variable X at the top. You do some other mad stuff with Python because it's Python and it lets you be lazy. And then you reuse this variable X and now it's a string and it doesn't complain. And then there's this sense if you went back up the top and tried to do some operation on this variable X, it's no longer the numeric value you gave it at the top, it's the string that you last used it as. So one of the things that Marimo does away with is hidden state. So that's not going to happen anymore. You can't reuse a variable. If you've declared it once, then that is it. Like you can change its value, but you can't redeclare it. We'll have a look. It also comes out of the box with all of these really nice UI elements. And that's something else that we're going to play with is how easy it is to make a slider so that a user, when they're using it in like app mode, can just like slide a thing or enter text in a text box. And these really helped me in my use case. So I'm going to talk a little bit about where I work and what my use case is. I am a data scientist at a fintech startup. I'm the only data scientist, and the rest of the devs are on what I refer to as the application team. So they are responsible for the business logic, the front end, and the database. And I have written a Python optimizer that sits currently on by its lonely self in an AWS Lambda. And what happens is a user will come up to the user interface, they'll step through a wizard. The application then goes and fetches some data and packages it up into some files, drops them in an S3 bucket, drops a message on an SQS queue, which wakes up the Lambda and runs the optimizer. The optimizer does its thing, it puts the answer in the bucket, puts another message on the queue, and the application is then going to render whatever it got back. So what happens in a startup, for those of you who know, is most things don't work a lot of the time. And also, when you're on an early stage feature like mine, is your main user is your customer success team. And your main member of your customer success team is probably your CEO. So it's my CEO who steps through the wizard, which talks to the optimizer and gets this answer back. And a bunch of times it's like the answer is this failed to optimize. And so what I have to do then is go find the S3 bucket. Oh no, it's all right. I have to go find the S3 bucket and download all the files, replicate the job locally so I can inspect what's going on. All right, so the use case is my CEO sends me a screenshot and a URL and said it broke here. And then I have to go and like mess around and find a bucket and replicate the job. And because I was doing this step of messing around to find where the bucket was, because the URL is not the same as where the bucket is, I thought I would build a form where you could paste in the URL, click a submit button, and then be able to do things from here. And that's my motivating example. Because also I just I caught up with some friends recently when I was at Python, which was here a couple of years ago, right? Right, so it was my first Python and it was really fun. Anyway, so one of my friends has been saying for months, you've got to use Marimo, it's really cool. And when I started using Marimo to rewrite my tooling, I was like, oh, I'm using Marimo. And he's like, oh, how is it? He had never used it. He just heard that it was cool. So now I'm telling you, it is cool. But this is how you start. So, well, I think this is how you use UV, because again, I'm new to UV. So you create your directory, you change into your directory, you're like UV init, and then you add Marimo, because that's like your one dependency in your new UV project. And then you just like run Marimo in edit mode and whatever your file's called. And that's what I did at my command prompt to get to where we are. Or you can run it in sandbox mode. Oh, there's so much here. I'm going to go back one step and we're going to go back into edit mode so I can toggle between them. There is a lot going on in the UI. Like the reason that Marimo got built is because some guy at some fancy pants Ivy League university like UC Berkeley, he did a PhD in like computational biology or computational chemistry, and he got annoyed with some of the features of Jupyter, and then he went and built this thing. Because that's what people do after they've done a PhD in computational science. They build better tools. And so what you can see here is, this is my markdown cell. Like I use an image tag to insert an image, which was like super fun. I just did that this afternoon. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could put an image in to make these slides less boring, and now they're less boring. And the only restriction on dropping images is that they need to be in a public folder that is, the public folder is next to your Marimo notebook. So that's the only restriction on images. You can't do any path moving for security reasons, which is fair, that's nice. So the first thing that's fun here, right, it looks like a normal notebook. We can have our variables A and B, we can print C, and this is that thing that I said about if you've created a variable, because there's no hidden state, if I now go and change one of these variable values, then the value of C will update automatically. Did you guys see that? Is that big enough? But the other thing it won't let me do, remember I told you that I couldn't go here and say, well, now A it's something else. And it's going to tell me I can't. The cell wasn't run because you've got an error. A was also defined somewhere else. All right, so it's already stopped me from doing dumb stuff that Python lets you do everywhere. Right, But the really fun bit is the dynamic UI elements. So I'm going to build a couple just to show you how easy they are. And like this ties back to my example where I needed to be able to copy paste a URL and then pass that URL, do some operations on it, and then go do some other functions. So where are we? Is this big enough? All right. mo.ui. Also, the code completions are really fun. All right, slider. Right. So I'm going to need a start value. I need a stop value. It's going to start with some value. Let's just say 3. I think we have labels. Do we have labels? Come on. I'm going to try label. Let's just say rate this slider. Oof, it's not labeled. Oh, thank you, slider. See? Everyone's rooting for me. Right, excellent. That's what we do now. I've got a slider. Okay, but I'm gonna wanna, well, first of all, I wanna see the value. Show value, true. So now I can see the value, but actually I want to be able to access that value. So let's say this is my slider. I'm never going to remember that. Slider equals that. We'll print our slider. Right, so now we've got slider as a variable. And this is how I can access the value. And now I've got the value that I can access anywhere in my code. And it will respond whenever the user changes the value. Now it's 5. Now it's 13. Right? So this is awesome, but it's also sometimes a problem because sometimes you don't want all of your code to change immediately just because someone's changed an entry. Like certainly in my case, I need a couple of pieces of information before I can do any work. So we'll group elements together in a minute. What we're going to do though is we're going to do the date picker because this one actually makes me quite happy. What was it? Date. Look, even in date range. Oh, what do I want to do? Label. So when? I think we get a start and a stop here too. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, did it tell me the format I need? There you go. Start. What do we want? Let's just start. Let's imagine I'm going to steal your birth date. So we'll start on the 1st of 1980 and we'll end, or either stop. Yep. And we'll stop with people that were born in the start of 2020. Let's see what we get. Dang it. It does not match the format. Thank you. Right. What have I done? There we go. Sorry, what was that? Was that someone helping me down the back?
Oh, they start to have generic spot.
Right. So here's what I like about this. Now I've got this really nice date picker, which has a little bit of weird behavior. Maybe I'm going to submit a bug report on that because it alwaals clicks back to there, or maybe that's something to do with me. But if I do this, let's just call it steal date. So now that I can access this as a variable, steal date dot value. I think my favorite thing so far about this is that it rolls straight off the press out of this widget and it's already a date object. And I don't know what your application team is doing, but my application team is storing dates as strings. The team stores booleans as strings. And so I get all sorts of stuff. So to interact with elements that are giving me something that's already been parsed, like this is uplift. And then we get text entry. This one's fun as well. Like it's all fun. I'm having so much fun. Right. So I think we get type here. And the type, ooh, it's going to tell me if I get it wrong. Okay. Nope, it's not telling me. Let's try again. Text. Oh, it's kind. Right. So it's given me an @ symbol because I told it that this is an email inbox. I don't think it does validation out of the box. I think you have to write a callback method, which you can attach. This one I thought was fun. Password. So label. It's going to be, tell me your password. Actually, no, we'll just say password. Ugh, label. Password. Right, so now I'm going to be like, oh, it's giving me a password field. I thought maybe they were going to be super awesome and they were going to hash it, but they don't. It is stored as clear text. I mean, who cares right now because it's just us. Right, so I've entered that value. So now I get stolen password.value. Nice. Watch out, it is stored as clear text, but it looks pretty and you can see how we can put these together. So I wanted to batch them together. All right, let's do it. I wrote myself lots of tips here because again, who's ever quoted in front of people? So let us batch. I want to batch these together. Oh, the other nice thing here. So we start to mix nice markdown type of batch with some, with like these UI elements. And this is where it starts to actually come together and look a bit more like an app. How are we going for time? Holy moly. Like practically out of time. No? Okay. It's all right. Like a lot of, anyway, let's do this thing. This is fun. We'll take stolen password and we'll take the slider. All right. So top of batch. So tell me your password. And so what we'll do here, and rate your mood. Let's do that. On this one, yeah, sure. What could possibly something rate your mood? No, this one's the slide. We'll call it slider 1. So here, whoops, batch. I'm pretty sure that now what I want to do is this, and I'm going to reuse this element up here. So that's the stolen password widget that I made. And the slider 1, what I'm going to place there is, what was that guy called? Slider. SLDR. So now they're together, which is really nice. And if we give it a my batch, and this is my batch, and now my batch.value, it comes, ooh, I didn't dot value. Good work, Ruth. My batch.value, come on, it's now a dictionary. Because I've batched together several objects. All right, this is nice and easy to access. But sometimes, again, so the other interesting thing here is if you look at my batch.value and I change the value, still dynamically updating, which if I'm reusing those variables, like in my use case, I've pasted in a URL, but I also need to paste in a couple other bits of information or select a few other items before I run my code. So actually you can use a form to get your batch, which is that, hang on, what?
Is the password gonna be obfuscated?
No, it's not. It's not. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. It is not. It is clear text. I have feelings about this, but I feel like we're just in notebook land, and I'm sure that if we dug around in the docs, we could do something clever, like we could have a callback on that immediately hashes it, and so then you've just got your hash. But yes, for the case of this example, and for the fact that I only found this like yesterday, I was like, password, that's fun. So yeah, I haven't investigated that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a form. So my batch dot form. Yeah, I know. So the label for my form is going to be form label. And now let's see what is, okay. So now this is the form I just made. So it's given me a label. And then it's showing the batch, and it's not going to record any of the values until I click submit, which is now the behavior I want. Right, so let's do it. So my form is this. My form dot, no, then we need to print it, right? Cool. And so before I fill out my form, let's have a look at what the value is. Right, so the value is actually none. So until you click submit, the value is none. Okay, hello, Jamie.
Does the form respect like native form validation? So if you did require true on the password, and then you click submit without a password, does it actually behave like a native form?
I haven't messed around too much with the validation stuff, but I believe you can do a whole lot of like regular front end UI magics, which I think you know me well enough to know that front end is not currently in my skill set, which is why this has been fun. All right, so currently my form.value is empty. And as soon as I click submit, I put in some values, click submit, then I'll get the dictionary of values. And the other nice thing that I've been using is this idea called stop, which just lets, so the thing about the notebook is it normally auto runs. So it'll run all the cells that you let it run. So if I want to gate something like, I don't want you to run until you have values in here, which is clearly my use case, then you do this really easy thing and you're like, mo.stop, stop, right, when not my form dot value, and then I'm pretty sure I can just do I need to even do that? I could probably just go waiting for you to fill the form. There we go. Oh, I'll make that a markdown. mo.markdown. Right. So now I've got markdown while this is stopped. And then I'll just do something meaningless here. Like once I get values, I'm gonna print form.value. Okay. Let me just, ooh, if I switch this to at my, hang on, not in slides, let's go vertical. By the way, their YouTube channel is like next level fun. Like their docs are great because their docs are all written in Marimo, so everything's interactive and awesome. But their YouTube channel, like it's the best place I've been on YouTube all week. All right, so I'm gonna put in some values. Now remember down here it says it's waiting for me to fill out the form. So when I click submit, it's got the form values. So that's the nice way I get to gate my functionality. Oh, so how are we going for time? We're going fine?
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you two quick things. First of all, I'm just gonna show you how fun spinners are. So this is how easy it is to make a spinner.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. I am not talking for that long. This-
And again, 20 minutes, I'm just kind of it's not for another 20 minutes, simply by.
No. Oh, okay. So I'm going to try and tidy it up. I'm going to show you spinners because they're awesome. And I'm going to show you how they manage data frames because that's even more awesome. And then you can pepper me with questions. But so context manager with mo.status.spinner. And I've just got this button up here to make it run. So I've literally just said down here, sleep for 10 seconds, but the title is thinking about spinners. And then my next step, I'm going to update the title to still thinking. And then it's done. And then it just goes on with the code. Like just, you know how when you're running your long stuff in your Jupyter notebook and you just want it to tell you that it's working? That makes me really, it's probably my favorite thing.
You don't need to know JavaScript.
No, you don't need to know JavaScript because somebody else did that for you. Right. So, pandas. Oh, so import pandas as, or did I do that at the top? Did I do it? I don't remember. Of course I did. We have to just keep going back to that picture of me. All right, so what have we got? PDs, read, CSV. Oh, where is it? Okay, so I wanted to show you something. I needed to look for some inoffensive data. So I downloaded my swims from my Garmin. Because I don't know about you guys, but I did lap swimming all winter, which was like probably weird. Who does that? How am I gonna find this? Ooh. Oh, this is gonna be a giant problem. Where is it? No, it's not. It's not a problem. I should have just put it in a local folder. Hang on, import. Let's try this. From pathlib, import path. And then let's see if I can't work out where my path is while people are watching.
Just out of curiosity, can you do like magic or percent commands to actually list your path and stuff in that notebook? Do you know what I mean?
Well, because aren't they Jupyter magics?
They might be, they're all magic.
Yeah, I think the magics you're referring to are Jupyter magics. This shouldn't be too annoyingly hard. Because I should be able to do this. There we go. This is how Ruth remembers how to find her path. Ooh, so what's that one? Right. It's going to be in downloads. And it's going to be called, there we go, that's what it's called. Because clearly it's activities too, because the first couple times I downloaded data, it was too boring to show. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to double check that this is file. There we go. Do you guys use Pathlib or are you still using OS like a bunch of savages?
Pathlib.
Yeah, Pathlib, that's the way. Okay, so that is a file. So swims. Oh, I even spelt that wildly wrong, so who cares? So it's called swims because I'm typing in front of humans. And this is, oh, that's right. You need to declare your variable. Look. So this is literally just, I did read CSV and now I've got a data frame viewer. look at all of the features. So you can click around in the top section and you can filter by value, you can sort. It's giving you like histograms out of the gate. Like, and then you can build a chart. So we're going to go up here, we're going to build a chart, and this is my last trick. We're going to build a scatter chart, and we are going to put date on the bottom. Ooh, and what we're going to do, distance. All right. So here's my chart. It's done all of the things for me. So, which is nice because I'm lazy. And then if I click this button, it's done this other thing for me. And then, so here's the last couple of magic features. I have just clicked the code button off the chart builder and it's created a cell with a code in it. They use Altair, which I've never heard of, but because the notebook is doing all of the thinking for me, it's like, you don't have Altair. Would you like to install it? Yes, I would. Which will probably be slow because I'm tethering off my phone, but it's UV, so it won't be slow because UV is amazing. Oh, it's installed. See, I told you. Go away. Right, so now the only thing you have to do is read the instruction, which is replace _df with your actual data source, which is called df. And there's my chart. So this is the last official thing in my presentation. Let's just double check. Spinners, we looked at spinners, they were amazing. I kind of wanted to talk about Typer. Hang on, this is the best thing. So I'm going to shut it down because I'm going to stop talking. So the best thing about running Marimo is they're stored as Python scripts. Yeah, so if I do, what did I call it? If I do this, it's a Python script. So it's pure Python. It's not that JSON hot mess that you get with Jupyter. Yeah, the JSON hot mess, you've all seen it. Okay, so because I was running it in a sandbox, it put that top matter, so it knows what its dependencies are. And it also means that if you put, you can wrap functions in here with your Typer annotation, and you can also run it from the command line. Because all of my old tooling I had done as Typer apps from the command line, and I just got a bit lazy and stopped wanting to type it all the time. So I kind of ported it all into my new Marimo notebook, which means I can either run it in app mode, which will look like what we've been playing with, or I can call the Typer functions, and because I've been talking for too long and it's actually slightly terrifying during live coding. But I will refer you to the documentation or the YouTube video about how to put Typer into Marimo Notebook, because it is just one more way that Marimo's been making my job more fun. Thank you. Oh, questions? You guys. Hi.
Hi. So that data frame thing you just showing, that only work with Pandas data frames or does it work with any others?
All of them. Mine's just Pandas because it's small. I think the examples that they mostly play with are Impolas. What else are you using?
Impolas.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yes.
You can also build all these widgets. I mean, just go to the YouTube channel to start with, because it's just like easy. They've got lots of shorts. But yeah, have a good time with it. You have a question?
Yeah, I just noticed that it's saying that it failed to connect with MCP servers. Any idea what kind of tools or stuff it uses?
They're really big on like one-shotting notebooks. So I didn't do the install with the MCP.
Yeah.
But they like to have, like it's integrated with OpenAPI OpenAI. So like when you're in notebook mode, you can open out the side panel and you can chat with your bot. And it's got all of the API connections, so you can chat with whatever one you have an account with. I was just a bit lazy.
Next question.
Yeah.
You mentioned something earlier about how this has simplified something, I guess. Where you have your boss as your
A user.
I'm really curious. So is it the way you use this to kind of go from data to an interactive like data product or dashboard with your boss? Is that how many steps does it take, or whether this is how you use it to go from, let's say, just a notebook to something that someone can use as a dashboard that's served to them, self-serve sort of thing?
I wanted to start making it self-serve,
Uh-huh.
but I'd have to build out, like, there's a bunch more widgets I'd have to actually build out, which might mean I have to learn JavaScript. It's about time. One of my other motivations is not just making it self-serve to my boss, but also rather than waiting for the application team to build or fix parts of the wizard that ultimately calls my feature, I wanted to make some interactive UI elements, or maybe use it to prototype. I've also, in the one that I've built for my tooling, I've got a section on benchmarking, so that it will, like, if I've downloaded a bunch of jobs and then done a bunch of fixes, I've now locally got quite a broad set of jobs. So if I make code changes, I want to rerun my new optimizer over all of the old jobs and then record and do some comparisons. So I want to get to dashboarding. But I've literally been sort of working on this for a month.
That's really good. So you get faster feedback, so you can quickly keep going.
Well, also, like, I am the entire data science team, whereas the application team have all of this surface area. So, like, I care about just the optimizer. So yeah, the more I can self-serve, the better it is. And I think there were some, like, some of the features around this look like you can embed like a Marimo dashboard or a Marimo something or other, little interactive piece. They talk about deploying that to, they've got MoLab, which is their version of Colab. They talk about deploying Marimo notebooks into your GitHub pages, or as like embedding them in other websites. So like, if I can make a tool or a interactive piece of something that's actually good enough, then maybe our users can interact directly with a Marimo widget. I don't know how long that will take. Might take me a minute. Jamie and then Riley. Okay, Jamie.
Do they let you write custom interpreters? So can you like support other languages? Like if I wanted to support a different language and have it projected onto Marimo, they let me include like a custom interpreter?
I don't know. Outside of my scope of practice.
This kind of seems like if Jupyter and Streamlit had a child, it would be Marimo. So do you know if Marimo has any sort of caching functionality for expensive processes? You cache it, and the last time it would run, it would just return the value if it was the same.
Couldn't you just reuse like Python's caching?
Suppose in theory, maybe, yeah.
I mean, I know they talk about threading and stuff.
Yeah. You're familiar with Streamlit, are you?
Not really.
No, it's okay.
Dash has the same problem with Python Dash, does it? Because everything is server side by default, so you would, unless you do some clever caching.
Yeah. So what I'm piecing together is every time there's an interaction with some widget, that entire Python script on the back end reruns and everything gets redone.
Yeah.
And that's basically a stream that works. And then they worked out that for expensive stuff that takes a long time to run, they need to cache it. If it hasn't changed, they need to rerun it, right? So they just return the same thing. And I was just curious whether this has that as well.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure either, so that's okay.
I'm just gonna check a bit. So Jamie was asking me before about like whether it remembers state. And with stuff like this, you literally like save your state into data. I mean, they have data sources, so I don't know if you've. I think the capabilities of this are far beyond what I've explored already. But like, if you click in here, you could. Oh well, this just currently lists my data frame, but I'm reasonably sure that you can actually give it connections to databases. Like it lets you store your secrets. So there's a bunch of features in here that I think is trying to overcome and solve for things that are expensive or things that don't need to be run or things that need to have like data stored somewhere. They've got a whole bunch of solutions for that. I'm literally just like scratching around on the surface and loading stuff from CSVs, because that's also like the current product that I work on is the way that it communicates to my optimizer is it dumps a bunch of CSV and JSON files into an S3 bucket, and I read those in. So that's like the current state of how my optimizer interacts with the outside world. And I think like as my needs grow and I need to interact with like the bigger data sources, then like certainly like use something like this to directly connect with the database or the API, but I haven't had to do that yet.
Like, can you currently, like, I have multiple Jupyter notebooks, can you like just open your Jupyter notebook through Marimo, or you need to like copy and paste all your code? Again?
I think that they have a piece of functionality to assist with migrations. But your Jupyter notebook is stored as JSON. Like this is the other point of difference here is that this is stored as pure Python, which means that you can also use like if half of your file is like scripts or functions that you want to be able to use elsewhere, you can still just refer to them as if they live in a vanilla Python file. Whereas anything that you put in a Jupyter notebook is largely inaccessible to anything other than a Jupyter interpreter because it's a JSON mess. Like, have you ever looked at the JSON mess that is your Jupyter file? Because I can show you what mine look like. Nope. And I can do this. This is a nice one. Dual. So this is the raw mess that is your Jupyter notebook. And that's why you can't access this code anywhere else. Like you have to have opened it in something that understands Jupyter, because the only bit here that's actually code, well, that's this, it tells me that it's a markdown cell, and this is the bit of it that's markdown. And then, you know, this bit is the code cell, and that's the bit that's code. So this is, yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's a solution in the Marimo ecosystem. Yeah. It will complain about your Jupyter notebooks when you first try and load them in, because they might be a little bit trashy. Which is why I highly recommend leave Jupyter. Like Jupyter's, it's been great, but because it's such an undisciplined environment and Python is such an undisciplined language that like you have to impose all the discipline, and we're not good at that because we're in a rush and we're using Jupyter because it's easy. Demi, did you have another question?
I don't need to ask it, so
Okay,
thanks.
you're gonna make that hard for me?
Yeah.
You answered it.
If there's Tom, I'll have another question.
Sure.
You talked about the, you demonstrated the, when you try to change the value for a variable you defined and it complained.
Mm,
But it was about, you mentioned you can change the value, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said you can change the value, but you cannot redefine a variable. So could you actually change the value of that variable that is already defined?
only in the spot that you defined it.
So it's local to that cell, otherwise it's immutable.
It's not that it's immutable. Yeah, sure. If that's the mental model that helps. So it's not local to the cell because it's referred to in this cell as well. So if we take the variable A is used here, but I can't redefine it.
See, the definition is perhaps localized.
Yeah, and they do talk at length about like their model for scope. And yeah, there might be some more information in there that helps you build your mental model for it.
So you can't do like an A plus equals 1 in the next cell, and is that a redefinition or is that?
Let's see. A plus equals 1.
Yes.
Because we've redefined A, and it's like you can't, A is already a thing.
But could you put that statement in the cell above it, sort of under that A heuristic line?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're using you as our,
Yeah,
okay.
it works.
Oh, yeah, okay, awesome. Interesting.
Hang on, let's print the value of A so we can,
I see.
hang on, so, oh, and this will be fun. If I go and I'm going to change this value to 8, so now all of the other values that refer to A will cascade. So run that. Okay, oh, and you have some modes here like auto run and lazy. Like there's a whole bunch of features just in the interface that are like, it's next level.
So can you run each cell individually?
Yeah, you can put it in lazy mode.
Okay, that's the difference. Okay, basically.
Yep.
So it does the shortcut escape A and escape B works. Which is add a cell below or add a step above. Which is the most used.
So, again, I will refer you to the YouTube channel about the shortcut for getting the command palette up. But yes, there is an extensive, is that it? Oh. So there's an extensive set of shortcuts.
The Jupyter ones.
Create cell above, create cell below. I think you can also probably remap them. But yeah, they've expanded on the capability of Jupyter. I mean, Jamie, you looked at their GitHub repo the other day, no, earlier tonight, and the like volume of downloads was ridiculous, wasn't it? So it's an open source project, but they just got acquired by some related business. So now they're supported by people with money.
Taken off then.
I think it's only been around for like 12 months or so.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but not long. I would recommend. Quickly.
No, it's not a part of Jupyter, it's just a
Correct. Return.
we have pizza. And
How nice.